The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour.
ChatGPT did become the world's most downloaded non-gaming app.
Literally the job of everyone in government to address the media and the public.
What are your thoughts, audience? What are your thoughts on Zandy Silva as the deputy PLP leader?
A community that can't feed itself is a community that doing.
What you may not know, though, is that Bermuda, we have a connection with Epstein, too.
Things that people are doing right, the youth are doing right, that is not being advertised enough.
When you see your access to U.S. dollars disappear, that's when you have a problem.
You've got a town in the UK with a similar sized population. This place absolutely outshines it.
It's Wednesday, the 10th day of June, 2026. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. This is the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC Bermuda, Medical House, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 107.5 for ensuring that we're able to pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. I'm Jamel Hartman. How's everyone feeling today? It's what you all like to call Hump Day today, the middle of the traditional work week. How's everyone feeling today? You know, you're getting over that, you know? Yeah, and a holiday weekend's coming up, I think. Yeah, it's a holiday. Yeah, it is. Okay, you all don't seem too excited. You seem drained. See, Bermuda Day, don't hate me. Don't throw things at your screen. But I think Bermuda Day and Heroes are just too close to one another, because by the time you recover or you're getting ready to get back to normal, you're back on holiday, right? And let's not talk about you all that who celebrate Juneteenth and American independence. Man, summer's just one big holiday, huh? I'm not hating. I'm just noticing how things go in the summer. But here we are anyway. But happy Wednesday to every last one of you. James Burgess says, good morning to the Daily Hour team show. I'm watching and listening. Welcome to your guests. Thank you and great morning to you, James Burgess. Well, greetings everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome Akilah Simmons back on the show from HSBC for another segment of Financial Fridays. I know it's Wednesday, but hey, do the New York Giants and Jets play in New York? No, they play in New Jersey. So Financial Fridays on a Wednesday is acceptable. You like that analogy? I'm having fun, cracking myself up this morning. All right, folks, we're going to be discussing HSBC's Springboard Mortgage Program. I love it, what I've read about it so far. I actually like this conversation. I think you all might be very interested in how this program can help you or others you may know, how it can help you help others. So looking forward to the conversation with Akilah. The Daily Play is going to be entertainment and music today. Music and entertainment. Which comes first, entertainment or music? Music. Anyway, I'm going to say entertainment comes first because E comes before M, but it's a good one today. I think you all will get this. I think you know pop culture. I think you'll get the answer to this. So make sure you stick around for that. And audience, don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Look, let's jump right into it. We've got Suzanne Ingham says, good morning, Jamel. It's a super day. We are alive and kicking, and a great morning to you as well, Suzanne. Love to have you here on a Wednesday. We got Charles H. Jefferson II. He says, judging from Madge's list, Shein thinks the holidays are too close together too. That's the clothing brand, right? Yeah, I guess they're all on you all's ads and stuff. All right, folks, let's jump into it. We've got a discussion to have. Here's your question. I'm going to put the question before I even get to reading. But what are your thoughts on candidates running for internal party leadership, right? What are your thoughts on candidates running for internal party leadership choosing not to engage the general public? Well, you're probably asking, well, where are you going with this today, Jamal? Well, last year, the One Bermuda Alliance held an internal election for the leadership of the party. At the time, it was communicated that because it was an internal election, the candidates would focus their efforts on engaging party members rather than participating in public forums and interviews with outlets like the Daily Hour. Fast forward to this year, we're seeing a similar situation unfold within the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party as it prepares to select its next leader. Now, the candidates who have announced themselves so far appear to be taking a similar approach, focusing on their attention on party members and potential delegates who ultimately hold the voting power. Now, I get it. I completely understand the logic. Under Bermuda's political system, the general public does not directly elect the leader of a political party. The public elects members of parliament, and parties determine their leadership through their own internal processes. Whether we like it or not, that's the system we have, and it's a system that both major political parties operate within. So, from a purely strategic standpoint, it actually makes sense that candidates would spend their time trying to persuade the people who may actually get a vote rather than the people who don't. However, I can also understand why some members of the public find that frustrating. After all, the person selected may very well become the next premier of Bermuda. Their decisions could impact every resident on this island, regardless of whether they belong to a political party. So I think it's actually reasonable for people to want to hear directly from those seeking leadership positions, especially when discussing their vision for the country. The interesting question, though, is whether there should be a distinction between what is politically smart and what is good for public engagement. See, a candidate can be completely justified in focusing on delegates because that's who votes. But does that mean they shouldn't also engage the wider public? Should people seeking to lead a country make themselves available to answer questions from those they may eventually govern, even if those people don't get a vote in the leadership contest itself? Then there's another question. Should Bermuda continue with a system where party delegates or members ultimately decide who can become premier, or should there be some form of direct public participation in choosing the country's leader? Now, some people would argue that party members put in the work, support the party, and therefore should determine its leadership. Others would argue that if the leader of a party is likely to become premier, then the broader public should have some say in that process. Now, this is an interesting conversation because it forces us to think not only about political parties, but about democracy itself and how much influence ordinary citizens should have over leadership selection. So again, your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. You see the question. What are your thoughts on candidates running for internal party leadership choosing not to engage the public? What are your thoughts on that? Think about that for a second and all that I just said, and we'll come back after this short break to get your thoughts. We've got a poll as well. Stick with us.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
All righty, folks, you see the question. This is your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. What are your thoughts on candidates running for internal party leadership, choosing not to engage the general public? And here's your poll for the morning. Should the general public have a direct vote in deciding the country's leader? 1 for yes, 2 for no. But do you believe the general public should have a direct vote in deciding the country's leader? Now, I think I may have said it already. I absolutely, I don't mind this system. This is the, let's be clear. This is the system we choose. This is the system we choose. And if, you know how I feel about democracy, but if this is what the people want, then we have, and I hate to say it like this, we've got to deal with the consequences of what we want. It's simple. I'm a believer that it's like the referendum question about CARICOM. No, I don't believe there should be a referendum. And I know some of you all who I love dearly believe there should be. But no, because we had a referendum last year, February, when you elected them. And I know people have said, well, they didn't mention anything about CARICOM in their platform. These are the consequences of voting the way we do. Everything governments do isn't going to be mentioned in the platform, but you know the behaviors, you know the history, you know the patterns. So no, I'm not in favor of that 1,500 signature CARICOM petition for a referendum. I'm not. I am not. And I am not in favor of the general public having a deciding vote in deciding the country's next leader. I'm not. Because we only seem to want that when we feel like things don't go in our favor. Either we want to change the system or we don't. I'm sorry if I'm coming across harsh this morning, but we can't have it both ways. We either want to change the system or we don't. Let's not just try to change the system when we don't get what we want, when it doesn't work in our favor. So what are your thoughts, audience? I honestly, when the OBA, we had Robert King and Ben Smith running, and they said, nope, it's internal. Fine with me. Both Minister Jason Hayward and the Honorable Curtis Dickinson, they don't want to come on because it's internal right now. Fine with me. But the conversations continue. Oh, they should. Folks, you knew this prior to this, that this is how it operates. You knew this. Anyway, it's not about my opinion. You all, let's hear what the audience has to say. We've got Dr. Anthony Richardson says, it's an internal process, not involving the general public. It's a non-issue, especially because the general public will have their say via the general election. Oh, sounds like me. Look at us aligned this morning, Dr. Anthony Richardson. WKD Lama says, not an issue for me. If you want a vote, join the party. No, I don't like that kind of talk. It's like when people say, well, if you want to make the change, you should put your name forward and run in. No, I don't want to be a politician. I think some of the most effective people in bringing about change were activists, not politicians. I don't need to be a politician to make the change that I desire for us. But I take your point. I personally, I don't see the point in joining a political party to want to make a difference. I mean, they removed me from the registry, so I can't even vote, folks. They did me dirty, but that's on you all. You don't want me voting anyway. Charles H. Jefferson II says, when the party leader will also become Premier of Bermuda, it gives a vibe that they will only be Premier for the party. This is another constitutional change I would like to see happen. I don't disagree, Charles, but the people have to want that change, right? And at present, we're comfortable with the system as is. But I don't disagree with you. It requires a constitutional change. And do we care enough to want that change? We can't complain about who the next premier is if we, here's the thing. Let me go to this. There are so many people I've heard say, well, there's no one in the PLP I'd vote for premier. They're all bad. That says more about you or the electorate than it does the PLP MPs. Because if you had an opportunity to vote and you vote for someone who you don't believe can be premier, that says more about you. I voted for two people in my life, well, in Bermuda. Michael Weeks and Nelson Bascom. Yeah, I would have, if they ever ran for premier, they would have gotten my vote too. Because I believe in voting for people who can take the top position. Now, I don't know where Michael Weeks is these days, his thoughts, his, if his positions have changed, but that was then, when I was still legal to vote. But those are the two people I voted for. And I believe both of them at the time could have made great premiers. But I'm not voting for anyone I don't believe can lead the country. Why would I vote for someone who's good enough to represent me politically, but not represent the country? That's silly, I would think. Anyway, don't forget the poll audience. What are your thoughts? Should the general public have a direct vote in deciding the country's leader? Right? That's 1 for yes, 2 for no. And what are your thoughts on candidates running for internal party leadership choosing not to engage the general public? What are your thoughts? I know you all were probably like, oh, he's going to be mad at Curtis Dickinson and Jason Hayward for not coming. I respect it. I do. I respect it because they're only doing what the system or constitution allows them to do. I respect it. We've got Dr. Anthony Richardson says, need to keep in mind that Bermuda Constitution does recognize political parties, only individuals. Doesn't, I believe he means. The governor ultimately decides who will be the leader of the majority in parliament. Yeah, this is true. We've got Suzanne Ingham says, politics, corruption, I just want to hold them accountable. I hate politics. I feel you. Dr. Anthony Richardson says the general public tends to vote for persons who are popular rather than those who are capable. Neither system is 100% foolproof. Well, it's a popularity contest. It is. It's a popularity contest. And that's something where for me, maybe it was just me, but I actually had relationships with the people I voted for. And that's probably because I was politically involved, but I had relationships and had conversations with them about various things, right? So for me, my vote was never about who was popular, even though they won by a great margin. It was, okay, this person represents my interest best, I feel, right? That's why they got my vote. Take your point, though. The popularity contest isn't helpful. We've got James Burgess. I've always been for the PLP, but I've never been a member, but I have shown my feelings to the BIU. Okay. Folks, this is your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Again, if you just tuned in, we're discussing, there was an internal party election with the One Bermuda Alliance last year, and there's one coming up with the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party this year. The difference is the person who is elected the leader of the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party is likely to be the premier. Now, the reality of Bermuda's political system is that we don't directly elect our premier, right? We, the public, or you, the public, elect members of parliament. Political parties choose their leaders through internal processes. The leader of the governing party often becomes premier. Whether people like it or not, that's how our system currently works. So if you feel like, you know what, you don't agree with this, then you have to make your voice heard. You have to advocate for a change in the system. Now, from why do candidates focus on party members? Oh, it's pretty clear, right? From a strategic standpoint, it makes sense, right? Focus on the people who vote. Like it'd be like the leader of the party focusing on people who live outside of Bermuda who've lost their voting rights rather than focusing on the people in Bermuda. No, I get it. The candidates need votes from delegates in the PLP's case, and I believe party members in the One Bermuda Alliance case. Those are the people who determine the outcome. Time and resources are often spent where votes can actually be won. This is not unique to Bermuda, right? Now, I understand the public frustration. Yes, the person seeking party leadership could become premier. Their decisions will impact everyone, not just party members. Many voters feel they deserve to hear directly from potential leaders. People want to understand their vision and priorities and leadership style. People feel shutting out the broader public creates a democratic disconnect. I get it. Now, there's the argument about politics versus public engagement. A candidate can be politically smart and still engage the public, right? And we ask, should leadership candidates participate in public forums even if the public doesn't vote? Is there value in allowing the wider community to hear ideas? Does public engagement build trust and transparency? There's a lot of conversation to have on this. A lot, folks. Charles H. Jefferson II says the problem with constitutional changes is there needs to be a political will by the government party. It's easier to convince a subset of the electorate that they're the right person for the job. Says, should there be a general election soon after a new party leader / premier is elected, only then can we say they have a mandate from the electorate. I see your point. I see your point, Charles. And as far as the poll question this morning is, should the general public have a direct vote in deciding the country's leader? Well, this is a 50-50 split. 50% say yes. 50% said no. This is a split. So half of you believe, yeah. Come on, anyone else? Let's break this split. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Do you think, and I'll call names, do you think Curtis Dickinson and Jason Hayward, right? Do you believe that you, the general public, should have a say in who governs? Now, let's be clear. Let's be clear. We spoke about popularity contests. It's very clear that in 2022, the majority of Bermuda wanted Curtis Dickinson to be the leader and premier of Bermuda. That's very clear. However, the general public doesn't get to vote. It's going to be interesting. Renee Sherilyn says, I've been saying this for a long time. The response is it's their constitution that the delegates vote for the party leader and premier. Says, how can 150 delegates decide for all of Bermuda? Nothing we can do. There is something we can do. And this is where people don't understand their power. You have power as the electorate. Fight for constitutional change. But you have power. Looks like we've settled the split. So should the general public have a direct vote in deciding the country's leader? And it looks like it's 57% yes and 43% no. Okay. Well, I'm on the no side. So I just believe we had the opportunity, folks. I think we had the opportunity. All right. Should Daily Discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Let's show them some love. And then we've got something Teo thinks you should know. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, let's read this comment real quickly from Stacey Madeira. Says, agreed to Somerset fans picking my St. George's Cup match team, much less my captain. The general public can't pick a party leader. The party has to save some autonomy. I see your point. I do. When she puts it like that, think about this, folks. Would you want St. George's fans choosing Somerset's captain? I mean, you put it like that. And I know you're going to say, that's cricket. This is real life people passing legislation and policies. I get it, but it still holds weight. Appreciate that analogy. Let's go to Titan Express and Secure. And then we'll come back with Teo's something he thinks you should know.
The daily discussion is brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Titan Express delivers safe, professional, and reliable transportation and tours across the island. From island tours to cultural experiences, they set the standard. And Secure is your go-to for property management, waste management, and residential and commercial services. Visit securebda.com. Professional, punctual, and reliable service is their commitment to you.
All righty. Well, let's go to a couple more comments. OTB CBDA says the public having a say in a political party's leader should depend on whether the party is the ruling party, yes, or the opposition, no. Or should we have a vice ruling leader? Nah, I don't think we should be changing the goalposts like that, because the opposition can become the government if an election was called tomorrow. So no, it should be fair straight down the line. I love that we're disagreeing on this. I believe this is worth a discussion. I think this is worth a serious consideration by the general public if they care enough. And Renee Sharlin says to Stacey Medeiros, that's a game. We're not playing games, but I get what she's saying. All right, folks. Well, I was real quickly, happy news this morning, and it's just come through to us, but we were going to share something from the Bermuda Police Service. They had been looking for this young man, Liam Murphy, overnight, but it's been reported just now within the last 10 minutes that Liam Murphy has been located safe and well, and the police would like to thank the public for your assistance in locating him. But thank you. We're very happy to hear that he was found very safe and well. All right, folks, let's see what Teo has for us in something he thinks we should know today.
Good morning, I'm Teo Dill, and welcome to today's episode of Something You Need to Know on TDH. And today's something is a little bittersweet, like really reassuring, but kind of sad. Let me just break it down. When people talk about kids being raised by grandparents, most of us picture grandmothers, but there's a quieter story unfolding across the entire planet. An increasing number of grandpas, are becoming fathers again. Not because they plan to, but because nobody else could. According to the latest kinship care data in the U.S., approximately 2.5 million kids are being raised in grand families, households where grandparents or other relatives have become the primary caregivers. Now, federal data puts the number at roughly 2.4 million children in recent years, and the reasons are often heartbreaking and completely obvious. Reasons like parental addiction, mental illness, incarceration, death, economic hardship, family instability. Basically, when parents can't care for their kids, grandparents frequently step in rather than allowing the children to enter the foster care system. Now, experts estimate that for every child being raised by relatives within foster care, many more are being cared for informally by family members outside the system. Now, what's especially interesting is that while grandmothers remain the majority of caregivers, millions of grandfathers are also involved in raising grandchildren, often while managing retirement, declining health, or even fixed incomes. In fact, research from South Africa found that nearly a third of grandparents living with children were grandfathers. 1/3. A reminder that this isn't just an American phenomenon. This is across the planet. Many expected their 60s and 70s to involve like retirement, travel, hobbies, etc. Instead, they're helping with homework, attending parent-teacher conferences, packing lunches, driving children to football practice, and in some cases, even fighting lengthy legal battles to gain custody. One recent profile highlighted a grandma who spent over a decade and more than $100,000 securing custody of her grandson. Similar stories are playing out all over the world. Again, this is not isolated to one place. For Black families, this story has particular significance. Research has consistently shown that Black children are more likely than many other groups to live in grandparent-headed households. One major study found that nearly 12% of Black kids lived in grandparent-headed households, compared with much lower percentages among many other demographic groups and ethnicities. And that's not necessarily a sign of weakness or anything, right? Like historically, extended family networks have often been one of the greatest strengths of Black communities during periods of economic disruption, discrimination, migration, crisis. Grandparents frequently became the stabilizing force that kept families together, which again underscores exactly what's happening today. Now, while much of society focuses on what's going wrong, millions of grandparents and many grandfathers among them are quietly stepping in to one of the toughest jobs imaginable because it's just, for them, the right thing to do. Now, thanks for listening to today's episode of Something You Need to Know. I'm Teo Dill. This is TDH. Now back to the show.
Grandparents in the Black community have always played such a critical role, right? But I do wonder, in today's state, what's changed where it's happening today? I feel for people because I feel like once people raise their children, they shouldn't have to raise their children's children unless obviously tragedy strikes and things of that nature happen. But I definitely appreciate, Teo, thank you so much for sharing that. It's giving me something to think about. All right, folks, days of the year. Today it is National Herbs and Spices Day. So I want to ask you, what is your favorite herb and spice to put on your food? Favorite herb or spice to put on your food? Let us know. What is it? Your favorite herb or spice? I'm going to say, when it comes to dessert, cinnamon. Yeah, cinnamon. I'm going to go with cinnamon's an herb. It's a spice. Yeah, cinnamon. I mean, it's cinnamon. I like putting turmeric in my juices, like I have two, but turmeric, man, it's like, it stains my fingers and my nails for days, like literally still have yellow in them, right? So it's like, I think I'm going to have to use gloves when working with it. But what's your favorite spice to put on your things you enjoy, folks? What's your favorite herb or spice? Favorite herbs or spice? Let us know what your favorite herbs or spice are. We've got thyme, says Dr. Anthony Richardson, thyme, Cajun pepper. All right. We've got thyme, Cajun pepper. I'd avoid thyme. We've got more. 9/11 Island Girls is thyme. Yeah. I don't know. I don't like green stuff in my food. Like looking like plants. I don't know. We've got chili, specifically chili oil, says WKD Lama. We've got cinnamon above all, says James Burgess. Okay. Yeah, I love cinnamon on my desserts. Yeah, I do. All right, folks. Well, let's take a quick break. We'll take this break. We'll come back. We've got a very special guest today, Akilah Simmons, on from HSBC for Financial Fridays. Again, I know it's Wednesday, but you know the analogy I gave you earlier. The New York Jets and Giants play in New Jersey, not New York. So why are we worried that Financial Fridays is happening on a Wednesday? All right. Do not go anywhere because I love this topic, the Springboard Mortgage. Trust me, many of you, if you don't know about it, are probably going to be like, wow, I wish this was around before. And some of you are going to be like, wow, I didn't know this existed, and I'm glad it does. Speaking about families, these are the things that bring families together and keep them together. Stick with us. Don't go anywhere.
Guess what? Bermuda's most popular game is back. That's right, Shoe Buy is back in stores. But wait, there's more. The brand new Shoe Buy Summer Edition is here too. Bring the laughs, the vibes, the friendly chaos to your barbecues and summer get-togethers with Bermuda's favorite game. Don't miss your chance to get yours. Visit BermudaTrivia.com and follow Bermuda Trivia on social media to learn more.
One lucky bucks in the summer edition has a golden ticket with the chance to win a grand prize courtesy of One Communications.
Hi there, welcome to Medical House. We're located at number 6 Bakery Lane. I can't wait to show you all of the great stuff that we carry. Come on inside, let's see. Long days, long shifts, you no longer have to endure comfortable underwear. Designed by nurses, we now offer premium undergarments by Swoop that are unique, fun, comfortable, and functional. The only underwear you'll ever want to wear. Who says high-quality functional products can be stylish and comfortable at the same time?
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Discover Drop It, your go-to grocery delivery. Browse and select from a wide range of groceries, from fresh produce to daily essentials. Our friendly drivers deliver fresh groceries to your door fast, saving you time and hassle. With Drop It, you get fresh groceries delivered fast so you can focus on what really matters. Drop It, freshness at your doorstep, delivered to your door with Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
What lasts isn't what you buy, but what it becomes. With the HSBC MasterCard credit card, every spend quietly adds to a story shaped by intention and offers what matters most. Support that meets you where you are. Protection that preserves what you choose. Confidence for the unexpected. Peace of mind wherever your story leads. Start your next chapter. Use your card today. HSBC is licensed to conduct banking and investment business by the Bermuda Monetary Authority.
I know you want to come get some. Playing around. Playing around. I got the juice. I got it, no doubt.
Ever taken medication and thought, why is this hitting me so hard? Or why isn't this doing anything at all? Here's something you may not know. Your body processes medication the same way it needs to process food, using enzymes. And these enzymes metabolize medication so it can be converted into its useful form or removed from your body. Pharmacogenetics looks at how your DNA influences the way your body metabolizes or breaks down medications. It helps explain why a drug that works well for one person causes side effects in another and barely works at all for someone else. That means the same pill at the same dose can feel very different from one person to the next. It's not about blame, it's not about doing something wrong, it's simply biology. And once you know what works best for you, medication decisions stop being guesswork and start becoming personalized.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Jamal Hartman here. This is the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC Bermuda, Medical House, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 107.5 for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. Audience, don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, it's National Spice Day. Actual, what's your favorite spice? We got red pepper flakes, says Nicole Walker. Suzanne Ingham says ginger, turmeric, garlic, basil. I love them all. Oh, how could I forget garlic? I love fresh garlic, like chopping it up, mixing it in my turkey burgers and stuff. Cinnamon. We got pesto, says Renee Sherilyn. And Stacy Madeira says paprika, discover it, but I ain't letting out any more family secrets. We're going to have to DM her, get in her DMs, see what she's got that she's hiding from us, folks. All right, folks, we've got a very special guest coming on. Not her first time, and hopefully not her last. Let's give a warm TDH welcome to Akilah Simmons from HSBC. Akilah, greetings. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm getting hungry thinking about the spices and what I can put them on. But we got to ask you. We have to ask you. What's your favorite spices?
Garlic. I like thyme too.
But do you take do you take fresh garlic and do something with it, or do you take garlic like this already processed?
I would use, they call it jarlic. So garlic in the jar. I would use fresh garlic. I would use garlic butter. I'm a garlic person. I like it.
Okay. No, so I only became a garlic person in the last couple of years, and I would get fresh garlic and I put it in the thing, chop it right up, and then I'd make my turkey burgers from scratch. And man, that's how my turkey burgers, even though no one's really tasted them, that's how they became world famous, because I put fresh garlic in them. Yeah, world famous. Yeah, I tried those on. Try those on. But Akilah, thank you so much for coming back. Sometimes people come and then they like, oh, I'm not going back to talk to that guy. But we appreciate that.
Well, thanks for having me.
No worries, no worries. But I read a bit about what we're discussing this morning, and I got excited. I got excited not just for me, but for people who want to be homeowners. So let's talk about it. I mean, a lot of people, I'm not going to say me, but a lot of people, when it comes to wanting to own a home in Bermuda, they just feel like there's nowhere to turn. Stop. Like, can I even afford it? Can I make it happen? People are struggling with the idea right now of just trying to survive, let alone the idea of a mortgage. And then the big part about that deposit that may get in the way. Speak to us about that for first-time buyers.
Yes, exactly. Many first-time buyers can afford the monthly payments, but the deposit, that's the biggest barrier.
Mm. And when you think about the deposit part, speak to us about in the most layman way possible what the Springboard Mortgage Program is and how that helps.
Okay, so the Springboard Mortgage allows a family member or loved one to support a first-time buyer by providing cash or property security. So this helps the buyer access up to 95% financing.
Mm. And audience, if you have any questions or comments for Akilah, feel free to send them through. So this is where it gets interesting. So a family or a loved one isn't buying the house. They're just supporting the application.
That's right. It's structured support, not gifting the property nor the funds. They're just supporting them.
So this actually helps first-time buyers get into a home sooner than they otherwise could, right?
Yes, exactly.
So the first thing people may think is, what does this mean for the family member or loved one? What does it mean for them?
The family member's support is used as security and is clearly structured. If the mortgage is managed well and the payments are made on time, the security can be released after 5 years.
Okay, and that's good to know. So there's an endpoint for the family member, you're saying, as far as the security. It's not for the entire duration of the mortgage.
Yes. So there's a clear path to the first-time home buyers, full independent.
But I think it's important. And audience, I want to ask, I want to get in people's pockets this morning. Just yes or no. Do you have a mortgage? And again, feel free to not answer because I'm getting in your business. Do you have a mortgage? Yes or no? I just want to find out from our audience whether or not you have a mortgage. Just a quick yes or no. But this isn't just banking, right? This is real life we're talking about. What changes for someone who uses this program?
It means someone that's renting right now, or living at home or renting, they could be a homeowner sooner than they expected. Instead of waiting years to save up a full deposit, which is generally 20%, with 5% down, they can take that step earlier with the support from their family or their loved ones.
So it's really, when you think about it, it's really about time, not money.
Yeah, exactly. It's just about helping first-time home buyers move into their very own home sooner.
Okay. So let's summarize the Springboard Mortgage with some quick questions.
Okay.
Who is it for?
First-time home buyers who can afford the monthly payments but need the help with the deposit.
Okay. How much can those interested in this program borrow for?
Subject to affordability, up to 95%.
Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is the family member permanently tied in?
No. So there's a defined release period after 5 years if the conditions are met.
Okay. How complicated is it to go through this process? That's the other thing. I was talking to someone in the US recently, and they said the home buying process is such a drag, right? It's like you have to do this and then do that and da-da-da-da. Like, speak to us about the process.
So we have a team of 3 mortgage specialists, and we're here to guide you. We're here to do everything for you. So we take you through this process step by step. We don't just leave you alone. We guide you through it.
Let's go to the audience. We've got Kiara Amel, I think, says, I had a mortgage with HSBC, paid it off a year ago. Woo-hoo. I think I said that right. I would have loved this Springboard system. We've got Charles H. Jeffs II. He says, if one has more than one child, can their home be used as security for each of their children?
That's a good question. It depends on how much equity you would have. So it's best to book an appointment. You can bring both of your children, or you can come in and see how much equity you have and what the criteria would be for you to help both of your children.
Audience, if you have any more questions or comments for Akilah, send them through. We'll get through as many as possible. Akilah, how long has this program been in existence, and how long will it go for? Do you know?
Actually, I think we did the first Springboard Mortgage in 2019 or 2020, one of those two. I think it was 2019. And it's been revamped. We took it off of the website, but we didn't stop offering it. So it's really best to come and speak with someone, because you could be eligible. You could have been eligible this time, but yeah, they've revamped it and made it a little bit better. So yeah, come and have a chat with us.
One of the concerns people have when it comes to mortgages is that their rates can be adjusted throughout the mortgage and be high. Can you address that, or just make people, give people some comfort as it relates to that?
So you mean the variable rate mortgage that we currently have? So this is my 20th year at the bank. And in my 20 years, that rate, the most it moved was during the recession. I don't know if your audience, well, yeah, your audience could be mature and would have felt the effects of the recession of 2010. That was a downward movement of the rate, and it was a steady downward turn of the rate, and then it sat. So we had no changes in our interest rate between 2010 and 2019.
Interesting.
So if people feel like the rate's all over the place, it's really not. Well, I can only speak to HSBC's rate.
Yeah. I like how you called the audience old. I'm joking, but mature. But saying that, speak to us about the length of mortgages. Could this apply for 15-year, 20-year, 30-year?
So it's up to 30 years. It depends on your retirement age. For me, I want to retire at 55. So I would want a shorter mortgage, but we take the age generally to 65. Maximum term would be 30 years.
Okay. People change jobs, people lose jobs. If they're a part of this program, are they able to refinance at all if something like that happens? Do you know?
It would be best to have a conversation, early conversations. If anything's going on in your financial situation, we want to speak to you early rather than later, to discuss all your options with regards to your mortgage.
And what is, when they speak to someone, the kind of questions that they should be prepared to answer? Again, folks, if you're watching us, obviously those on radio can't see, but if you're watching us, you can see scrolling at the bottom how you can get in touch, 299-5959, or email bermuda.mortgage.team@hsbc.bm. But for someone who, makes an appointment, what should they be prepared to take with them, to share with them, questions that may be asked of them?
So we want, number one, your identification. Bring that in, your pay stubs if your salary is not directly deposited into HSBC, and any savings that you have. So if it's not held with HSBC, bring a savings statement, investment statement, wherever your funds are. And then, of course, you have to be comfortable with an amount. So we're not assuming that all of your savings you want to use towards this purchase. You have to have a number in mind that you'd be willing to part with. Home purchases can be top heavy in the beginning.
Yeah. So the person doesn't have to have a HSBC account to participate in the Springboard Mortgage Program?
They will. But for initial discussions, you can come with your ID, your pay stubs, and your statements from your current bank. In order to get a Springboard mortgage, you will need to open up an HSBC account.
Got it. Good information. Thank you for that. Let's go to the audience. Some questions. Laverne Talker's asking if a family member has only 6 months left on their personal mortgage, can they assist another family member?
Absolutely. If you're comfortable with entering into a guarantee for 5 years, even though you only have 6 months left on your mortgage, then you can still do it. That's your option.
All right. We've got Renee Sharlin says, is the family member required on the conveyance of the property or just playing the role, supporting role with the bank?
You're just supporting. So you are not going on to the family member you're supporting's mortgage or property ownership. You're not owning the house with who you're helping. You're owning your own house. So it's separate.
Can you do us a favor? Because I know people are thinking it. What's the risk for the family member who is supporting someone with this Springboard Mortgage Program?
Worst case scenario, you lose your house. I'm sorry. I shouldn't joke like that. But yes, worst case scenario, the bank will take your house and sell it to basically pay the down payment that we're looking at, supporting the person with the house. I mean, if we can't get it from the mortgagor first.
But obviously there's processes before we get there. And I don't think it was a bad joke. I think that was probably the most honest and direct you could have been. I appreciate that.
Sometimes I'm too honest.
But no, I appreciate it because I think there's risk with everything. I mean, every day we wake up, get on the road, that we're taking risks. But I thought that was important to get people to understand. There have been cases where people have, taken opportunities to support people in different things, and then they've been left to have to cover. And it's not necessarily mortgage or with money. So I just thought that was clear. Again, just remind people some key points about the Springboard Mortgage Program that they need to know before reaching out.
Okay, so it's 95% financing of the purchase price. Now, you still have bank fees, legal fees, an appraisal fee. So you still have to have more than 5% in cash to make this work. But 20% plus closing is a lot more to achieve than 5% plus closing.
Okay. And just remind people one last time how they can get started.
Schedule an appointment.
It's that simple, folks. Schedule an appointment. What I really appreciate about HSBC is, it's going beyond providing the mortgage. You're supporting clients through things like financial literacy, budgeting tools, long-term planning. How do you do all of this?
We have people that are well-versed. I mean, I've been at bank 20 years. My colleagues have 19 years at the bank and 22 years. So we're well-versed. We've been doing this for a long time. A lot of on-the-job training. I've learned a lot working at HSBC, I have to admit.
Yeah. Charles H. Jeffs II says she barely looks over the age of 20. Akilah, thank you so much. And again, folks, as you can see, scrolling down the bottom All you have to do if you're interested is call 299-5959 or email bermuda.mortgage.team@hsbc.bm. And for those listening on radio, my apologies for saying if you can see scrolling down bottom. But again, if you're tuned in on the radio and you're interested in learning more about the Springboard Mortgage Program, just reach out to someone at HSBC, either your relationship manager, or if you don't have one, just call 299-5959 or email bermuda.mortgage.team@hsbc.bm. Akilah, thank you so much for stopping by. And
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
No problem. What do you put your garlic on? I have to ask you that before you leave.
Everything except for desserts and stuff. So my son started cooking. He's 11. He's been cooking for a year now. He goes 12. I find he loves garlic too. He cooks up some fish, but he uses garlic, paprika, dill, pepper.
Okay.
He likes a little pepper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whole spice in his life. I appreciate the young brother. All right, Akilah. Well, go make something with garlic today. Make us all proud. Make sure it tastes good, because I'm sure your son will tell us if it doesn't.
He will.
All right. Have a wonderful day. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right. Akilah Simmons, HSBC folks. Appreciate that conversation. Make sure you give us a love, like, follow, share the link with your friends, your family, your colleagues. We got a daily play coming up. You don't want to miss this one. Any R&B fans out there? Yeah, this is an R&B question. Stick with us. We'll be back in a few to see if you've got the answer.
Children love to play and have fun. And they love gifts even more, especially ones that they can enjoy and learn from. With Bermuda Trivia coloring books, kids can explore the island while they color, learn, and create. The perfect activity for fun and learning together. Available now.
Visit bermudatrivia.com and follow Bermuda Trivia on your favorite social media platforms to learn more.
For over 70 years, Bermuda Pest Control has been protecting homes and businesses island-wide. We offer a full suite of services, including rodent control, termite fumigation, and general insect control and maintenance. Our team of experts will quickly and efficiently eliminate any pest problem you may have. With Bermuda Pest Control, you can enjoy a pest-free home in no time. We're committed to providing fast, reliable, and solution-driven services for our customers. It's what we've been doing since 1952. Call Bermuda Pest Control today and say goodbye to pests for good.
Dreaming of expanding your business? With BDC's Loan Guarantee Program, we support your ambitions. Get up to 75% guarantee on bank or credit union loans up to $300,000. Just your vision and our support. Apply today and unlock new business opportunities. BDC, Bermuda Business starts here.
Bermuda, there's nothing like a home-cooked meal, especially when you can feed the whole family without stretching your wallet. With the affordable Bermuda basket, you'll find savings on everyday staples like rice, chicken, corn, and more. Everything you need to make a good meal for less. Shop the Bermuda basket at Lindo's, Marketplace, the Garden Market, and the English Market. Visit costofliving.gov.bm to see the full list of goods and start planning your meals. This is a message from the Ministry of Home Affairs.
Life moves fast, and so can the unexpected. When you insure your home, you need to know that your insurance company has your back. At Friesenbrook, let one of our friendly and professional agents give you that peace of mind. Because when you are covered, you are confident. Call us at 296-3600 or visit friesenbrook.bm to learn more.
Guess what? Bermuda's most popular game is back. That's right, Shoe Buy is back in stores. But wait, there's more. The brand new Shoe Buy Summer Edition is here too. Bring the laughs, the vibes, the friendly chaos to your barbecues and summer get-togethers with Bermuda's favorite game. Don't miss your chance to get yours. Visit bermudatrivia.com and follow Bermuda Trivia on social media to learn more.
One lucky box in the summer edition has a golden ticket with the chance to win a grand prize courtesy of One Communications.
All righty. Thanks again to Akilah Simmons and HSBC for another informative conversation. Folks, first-time home buyers, there's an opportunity to earn a piece of the rock. And HSBC is definitely helping you with that. So again, if you appreciated the conversation, found it helpful, if you are streaming with us on social media, give us a like, love, follow, share the link with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Make sure everyone you know has access to these most important community conversations as possible. You know, I had someone tell me recently, oh, the FDM hasn't even said anything about CARICOM. I mentioned it to you last week. And I'm like, Omar Dill was on here, this show in April, the same day they released a statement in the Royal Gazette to speak to it. And it made me think, you know, I'm not selfish. I believe that all of us, every last one of us, whether it's Bermuda Broadcast and the Royal Gazette, all of us should actually have some access or give ourselves access to some form of information and news to stay up to date. To do otherwise is actually lazy and to our detriment. I'm not saying that you can't listen to good music, have fun, and enjoy life. But if you don't know what's going on around you, it's a dangerous place to be. So again, thank you all. When you do share the links with your friends, your family, your colleagues, when you do ensure that other people have the information. So like, you know, people complain, oh, there's no way to own a home in Bermuda. Well, they kind of just gave you an idea of how you can accomplish that. Anyway, folks, it's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Don't forget, shoe buy the original and shoe buy the summer edition. Oh, that summer edition is it. In stores right now, like Christmas, very limited edition. So you want to get them before they are sold out. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, and TikTok to stay up to date. Any updates? All right, here's today. Are you ready? It's music and entertainment today. All right, folks, here we go. I know you all know the answer to this. What was the #1 hit written by Neo for Beyonce? Oh, no one got it. I thought everyone knew the answer to this. You don't know the #1 hit song that Neo wrote for Beyonce? Ooh. Don't know that one? I thought you all had that one. Oh, here we go. 9/11 Island Girl and Charles H. Jefferson II and Stacey Medeiros, they all got it. Irreplaceable. I don't know that answer, Jamel. I'm not music-y. Yeah, it was irreplaceable. To the left, you know that song there. Yeah. I'm irreplaceable. Yeah, that one there. Yeah. All right, folks, we got to wrap it up. Thank you all for rocking with us. As far as the discussion this morning, I completely understand why people want to have a say in who the next, potentially the next premier of Bermuda is going to be. But we choose our own fate when it comes to politics. We have long accepted the system as is. We know what it is. And we can't just, pick up our toys and leave when we're not getting the person we prefer. Right? Now, I do agree with candidates in this case, the Minister Jason Hayward and the Honorable Curtis Dickinson. I actually agree with them, focusing on those who may have the opportunity to vote. I do. But I also think they do have a responsibility to the general public. And that's not to say that they should come on this show or go to the media. They have their own social media platforms they can utilize these days, right? It's interesting. It's an interesting system. One would say, it's not a democratic system. But the same argument I would use for why this is okay is the same argument I would use for not having a referendum. We should not be calling for things just when things don't go our way. Either it's right or it's wrong. It can only be wrong when we're not getting what we want. And that, to me, is the bigger problem here. We only seem to see things as wrong when we don't get our way. That's not cool. We have to do better. I think it was the late, great Malcolm X who said, wrong is wrong, no matter who does it or says it. We have to get to that place. All right. As far as the discussion with Akilah Simmons, HSBC, I know people panic. People have a lot of issues with the idea of buying a home in Bermuda and mortgages and the like. If you have a trusting family member, someone who you believe in, that really wants to own a home, and you believe that they will keep up their end of the bargain, and if you're able to, give them a hand up. It's an opportunity. It's a big opportunity. We want more Bermudians owning homes in Bermuda. This could be a great start. All right, I got to give you some daily inspiration and then head out. It was a quote from my book that someone shared with me last night. They forwarded it to me and said this was their mother. It was Hedeline Stevenson's Swan. And she forwarded, she said, quote, I knew I no longer held grudges when I became thankful for the experiences and lessons, end quote. It says, read this in Jamal's book, and then it said the quote. And that's your daily inspiration for the day. I knew I no longer held grudges when I became thankful for the experiences and lessons. And that was actually in reference to the Bermuda Tourism Authority. I became and still become more grateful by the day that they let me go in that January 2018. And people may say, well, you did hold a grudge. You always used to talk about them. That wasn't a grudge. That was because I knew things were wrong and I had knowledge of what was wrong. That was nothing about disliking or hating them. It was more so holding them accountable because of what I knew. But as far as grudging, I was grateful because without that experience, I would not have been able or been in a position to be where I am now. Someone said to me the other day, I smile a lot when I'm not on camera or when I'm not taking pictures because I'm happy. I'm genuinely happy. And my happiness begins with what I do or spend my time doing for most of the day. And that's the work I love. So fall in love with the experiences and the lessons and let go of the bitterness, folks. All right, gotta let you go, but do not forget to subscribe on our website, follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on, help us grow beyond the mic as we continue to do our part to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC Bermuda, Medical Wells, Lindos, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 107.5, ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. I'm Jamal Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. We are out. Peace.